Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
Fourth and goal to go with the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Whew, made it back. Welcome to the Gridiron. Running through something real fast. If you give this video a thumbs up and maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. It's totally free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel out, description box below, very top link in the description box, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. And then finally, another link just underneath that. It's in my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,600 members in the group, and it is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, if I got internet access, I ain't putting stuff in this group down there 365. It's called the New York Giants, The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Well, rounds 2 and 3 are in the books. Now, of course, you had that long wait. You had that excitement yesterday, right at the end of the round, first round. We got our quarterback, hopefully of the future, right? So there was that excitement, right? But then, of course, what that did, right? That gave up 2 of our picks today. So that's why there was no 32. There was only a 65, and that was it, right? There was no 30. No, I'm sorry. There was no 34 and 99. They're gone. So that to get Haxson Dart. Plus, we're going to the 3rd rounder next season. We gave away as well too to get Dart. But if Dart is our quarterback of the future, if second round and 2/3 for the quarterback, it's a lot less than we gave up for Eli. Now, I don't think he's going to be Eli Manning, but we'll have to wait and see, right? So it was just, all those picks, and we just had one guy. So, but, this is one of the ones I was really hoping for and everything. Obviously, not so much Darius Alexander, but I'll take him. But putting somebody next to Sexy. Now, I'll tell you what, I mean, if I posted this in the Facebook group. I mean, with this defense that we have, I'm not saying we're top 5 defense. I'm not saying, greatest defense of all time, but I'm not saying none of that stuff. But if Bowen can't make this defense work, it's time for Bowen to go bye-bye. Right? I mean, this is, we have some, we got some, I mean, we got some depth. Edge rusher, the front wall. We got lots of depth. We got edge rushers and depth there on the interior defensive line and all of that, right? I said maybe we could add somebody else to the secondary, which for maybe a little more added depth. That wouldn't be bad. We have. I mean, we got a bunch of cornerbacks, but if you think Banks, right? We got Flott, we got Trey Hawkins, the third. We got Phillips, we got Adebo. So we have we got some safety. So maybe a little some. What do we got? 105, 154, and we got 2 in the 7th round. So I'm not overly thrilled to death about the 7th round picks because a lot of times the 7th round picks just don't seem to. Pan out. But I mean, I said, if we, these next 2 picks, if we can, get some good player, a couple good players, wouldn't be bad. Of course, the one thing was, we had to give up an extra pick. We gave up 2 to get 1, but that was to get the quarterback, right? So I did hear a lot of guys talking too. If the Giants found their quarterback of the future. I don't mean Daniel Jones. I don't mean where Daniel Jones was here for about 312 years. And 312 years, we were, well, is he the quarterback? Oh yeah, he did good last week, right? And then the week before that wasn't so good, but maybe he was injured. But then he had that good game here. But then there was the bad game. Well, maybe that was the bad offensive. Is he the quarterback of the? Is he good? No, you can't. We can't do this to the year 2030. Can't do it. Can't have it. That would be 6 years. That would be 2030. Could you imagine doing the Daniel Jones thing until 2030 with Haxson Dart? Could you? We traded a DJ for a JD, right? So. All right, let's hope initials ain't got nothing to do with it. All right. But, I heard a couple people saying that the Giants, knocked that out of the park. I said, one guy said, right, one guy, I don't know who it was, but he said the Giants, would have won the draft if they got themselves their future quarterback and a blue chip. Right. Yeah, because, you can look at, the Browns, they got Myles Garrett. Right, one draft, but they didn't get their future quarterback in the same draft. You know what I'm saying? So, if Haxson Dart is all that and a bag of Doritos, quite possibly, Giants did themselves very, very good. Now, of course, you might have to give up something, but I'll tell you what, if you got that premier pass rusher, right, and you get if you can get your quarterback in the future, that's a pretty good draft. But, what I've been, hoping for and all of that is let's get somebody next to sexy, okay, who can, help him out. Because what Shane was talking about in the conference, we were talking about it with Alexander and all, it's usually there's a lot of times there's 4 hands on sexy, right, which usually, frees up somebody else for, a one-on-one battle, right? Can we get somebody in there that can win the one-on-one battle? Now the Giants might have, sorry, buddy, move my legs. Now the Giants didn't need a quarterback. They could have possibly gone maybe defensive tackle in the second round. Maybe got somebody even a little bit better. It is what it is. But Alexander comes from Toledo, smaller school. Okay, he's 6'4", I think it is, 310, 315, nice size, right? Obviously, be working on some strength, all that and everything. But one of the things that Shane and Dable were talking about was, especially a lot of these guys from smaller schools, you can only see so many games live, right? And when Shane's trying to, follow all these players, right, a lot of them are big-time schools. So you don't usually head off to Toledo to see a football game. You know what I mean? So he said he did impress at I think it was the Senior Bowl. I think it was, right? They were down there. They got to see him. I think they said they got to talk to him a little bit like that. Actually, he had opportunities to leave Toledo and go elsewhere, but he said he stayed with Toledo. So he's got PFF had him at we got him at number 65. PFF. Right. He was there. He was the 49th ranked player coming out in the draft, and we got him at number 65. So, right, we did pretty good on that one. Right. Let me see here. So I got what do we got here? Giants select Darius Alexander, defensive tackle from Toledo in round 3. As I said, between the edge rushers we got and we had a lot of interior defensive linemen as well too. But between these 2 guys right here, should have a nice front wall there. Really, really should have a nice front wall. Because the Giants had obviously the first pick in the 3rd round. So with the first pick in round 3, Number 65 overall, the Giants on Friday night selected Darius Alexander, a defensive tackle from Toledo. Giants did not have a selection in round 2 after, obviously, they traded up to take Haxson Dart, in which they gave up pick number 34. This is the earliest general manager Joe Schoen has selected a defensive tackle in the 4 drafts he has run for the Giants. Let's see. Valentine. I said this was a need for the Giants. It was. I mean, we have defensive tackle. We got guys we put next to, but Nacho is not. Nacho's depth. I don't know how many guys we're going to wind up keeping. Nacho could be somebody we might even let go. Right? I'm not overly thrilled to that. Elijah Chapman is okay, but we needed somebody a little bit bigger and all of that. Right? So I think that this guy here might be a nice double team with Sexy. And then you look at all the freaking other guys we got. With Burnsy, Kayvon, so should have a good defense. Let's hope the run defense is better. And I said this. I said if Shane Bowen can't get this defense here to play a little bit better, it's time for Bowen to go. Let's see. Alexander is a good get. This continues an offseason where the Giants have invested heavily in upgrading their defense. So the defense should be much improved. Let's see. Dane Brugel of The Athletic said, Alexander is rangy, defending the run, and the body fluidity and length to displace blocks. He has shown an improved ability to feel the rhythm of blocks to work off contact, but needs to streamline his pass rush with more consistent leverage and sequencing. Overall, Alexander isn't yet the full sum of his impressive parts, but his blend of power, length, and athletic body control give him the makings of a 3-down, scheme versatile NFL starter. Now, let's not forget about the Godfather, right? As far as Patterson, so Patterson's going to be able to work with them, right? So he projects best in an attacking role where he'd be able to maximize his disruptive traits. Okay. If he's going one-on-one with somebody, right, it's going to be very beneficial. His peak plays are reminiscent of Leonard Williams. ESPN says in a 3-4 defense, you need a 5 technique who can win in one-on-one situations against offensive tackles while having the power to set the edge. Alexander has exactly that, as well as enough quickness and physical upside to be an effective rusher on 3rd downs. He will be a clean fit in the Giants' 3-man front next to first-round pick Abdul Carter and veteran Brian Burns. The 33rd team says Toledo Rockets defensive tackle Darius Alexander is a rocked-up, twitchy defender who boasts loads of potential in a variety of defensive schemes. Alexander is top-tier length and some flashes of strong gap control at the point of attack. He has the needed strength to live and play in any gap along the front. So, as a pass rusher, he only had, I think it was like, I'll look at his stat. He only had, didn't have a ton of sacks. But as a pass rusher, Alexander has an explosive first step and surreal power at his disposal when he's well coiled and can unload into blockers with his power rushes. He leans on his heavy hands to jolt with counters or pull blockers off their base. He has his consistency questions and would benefit from refinement of his block leveraging, disengagement skills, and his pass rush plan to be a more constant threat to offenses, but his physical ability is that of an impact starter. So, is this here right? Okay, here we go. Giants selected Darius Alexander in the 3rd round after spending 6 seasons at Toledo. Now, he's 24, but he'll be 25, I think, when the season starts. So, Alexander began his college career in 2019, but did not see any action that season as he redshirted In 2020, the Indiana native played in 6 games as a reserve and notched 9 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. The following season, Alexander played in 13 games with 3 starts, recorded 21 tackles, a tackle for loss, and 3 passes defensed. So he was out there dropping in coverage, I guess. 2022, Alexander played in 13 games with 1 start and tallied 21 tackles. He played in 14 games with 11 starts in 2023, made the All-MAC third team after posting 36 tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, and 3 pass breakups. Last year, Alexander made the All-MAC second team after recording 40 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, and 4 passes defensed. He said, "I'm a 3-down defender at the next level," Darius Alexander told Justin Malo of the Draft Network this month. "I love doing the dirty work on early run-stopping downs. That gives me a chance to showcase my motor and physicality. I can uphold my gap and impact the other gaps as well." Alexander played high school football at Wayne in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He was ranked as the number 2,347th overall prospect and the number 214 edge rusher in the class of 2019, according to On3 industry rankings. A weighted average that utilizes all 4 major recruiting media companies. So, all right, we got, where are we at here? Is this it? Okay, and I got this. This was from ESPN. Alexander is a better pass rusher than his 9 sacks over 5 collegiate seasons suggest, and he has the tools to continue to get better. He shoots his hands, locks out, and pushes blockers rushing the passer. He can get off blocks at the top of the rush and mix in a push-pull move. He gets upfield and redirects inside with an arm over move. Alexander got his hands up and had 5 passes defended in 2024. He stacks and sheds blocks defending the run. And he fights off through double teams. He can get into gaps and chases with good effort. Do I have him here? Okay, here we go. So now, according to PFF, right? This year he graded out at he was the number 3rd interior defensive lineman. He graded out at a 90. Now, the one thing I like here is that it's Toledo, though, Joe. Got to keep that in mind, right? But in 2022, he graded out at a 77.5. 2023 graded out at 80.6. Then this past season, he graded out at 90.1. So each year he keeps getting better. So with Patterson, hopefully Patterson can keep working on him, refining his skills and all that. And, I don't want to say the sky's the limit for the guy, but, we could have ourselves a pretty nice defensive tackle, interior defensive lineman, whatever you want to call him, for hopefully years to come. So his run defense grade this year was a 90. Once again, it was the Toledo. His pass rush grade was a 78. Okay. Now, this past season, he played in 630 defensive snaps, right? He was in the A gap 8 times. He was in the B gap 545 times. He was over the tackle 49 times. He was outside the tackle 22 times, and he was off ball 6 times. So they had him pretty much all up and down the line of scrimmage. Once again, it was at Toledo. But that was one of the things that with Shane, he was talking about, the schemes that they use. Is very important, to figure that out, because you want to talk to these guys. They did bring him in for a 30 visit. Now, a lot of 30 visits that, Shane's, to be fair, also in the past 2 seasons, right? The past 2 draft class for Shane, right? Yeah, you're picking number 3 and number 6. How many first rounders you're going to bring in for a 30 visit, right? Like this year, you're picking number 3. There's only going to be a few guys that can possibly be there. So why are you going to waste bringing in, somebody who might go in pick number 15 or 16 or say, so they did bring in a lot of guys for these 30 visits, obviously, who were going to go in second round maybe and later. So, but Alexander was certainly one of those guys that came in. So they got to know him quite a bit between, like I think it was the Senior Bowl, meeting him there, and like the 30 visit. And they said he did a very good job at the Senior Bowl. So he jumped off the page at him. So that's another one of the things we got check off right off the list. We got another edge rusher. We got edge rushers out the yin yang. I mean, between Golston, who can, maybe on the outside, maybe he can be defensive end, but on the outside, whatever, right? But I mean, with Kayvon, Burnsy, and some guy by the name of Abdul Carter, right? Who's that guy, right? But now we got somebody next to Dexter, right? So we got a nice front wall there. Out of these next 4 picks, certainly look for somebody maybe in the secondary, right? The other thing too is, I mean, we got a lot of offensive linemen. We got a lot, right? Don't know if they're going to add one in the draft. Would like to see them add somebody in the draft, but but we went up and got the quarterback. So that's we lost it. We did wind up losing a pick. So I have to wait and see what we wind up doing with picks 105 and 154, right? It's not a phenomenal center class. Not that we need a center, but it's not a phenomenal guard class. I don't know if we're going to take a tackle in the 5th round. I don't know. That's something we can maybe attack next season in the draft, right? Or we have some little bit of money. Maybe we can go out there and maybe get ourselves an offense if we need one, right? But we got Andrew Thomas. We know next year. We know we got Runyon Jr. next year. We know we got Michael Schmitz next year, right? So, we might have to attack the guard and the tackle maybe next season in the draft and free agency. So we'll have to wait and see. But maybe another wide receiver would be nice. Running back maybe at 105. I'll have to wait and see. But so tomorrow we got 4 picks. I said I'm never overly thrilled with the 7th round picks, but you never know, right? And of course, you've seen this here, of course, and this is, I mean, it's just, was in the middle of Darius Alexander's, the yak-offs media. It's like, they're there to talk about Darius Alexander and the jerk offs, or asking Dable and Shane about what's going on with Shedeur Sanders. I mean, like, anyway, and Shane's like, this is about Darius. This is his time. I'm not going to talk about other players. You stupid idiots. So he brushed it aside. I think with a little smile on his face. But one of the things you're hearing about, with Shedeur, we got a couple things. I mean, there's one here, right? This is from, let's say, it's from Yahoo Sports. It was an anonymous coach, right? So I mean, a lot of times you tell somebody, you say it was off the record, or keep my name out of it, or something like that, right? So I mean, this is what these people are doing. So I mean, because if a guy's going to go out of his way, right, and give you some info, right, on somebody, he says, keep my name out of it or something, whatever, right? You better do it, or you're not going to get any information from the guy ever again. But it's just, common courtesy. If this guy is telling you something, maybe you're not supposed to know, whatever, and he's telling you, right? If he says, keep my name out of it, you got it, brother. Yes, sir. Thank you for the information, right? So, but, I mean, it's not, everything's not everything, right? But, everything is something, right? And it's the same thing with Shane. Shane talk, everything, he looks at everything. And I said, one of the things is, it's just simple, stupid kind of stuff, right? He would go he would ask people at the college, right? Yeah, draft this guy, right? Right? When he's in the cafeteria, right, he's getting lunch or something. How's he treating cafeteria ladies? It's just something simple, something stupid, something ridiculous, whatever. No. Huh? How does he treat somebody? That's huge. Right? Do you walk up and say, hey, yeah, some of that. Yeah, right here. Nah, keep it coming. Yeah, I mean, is it like that? Or, hey, can I have some potatoes, please? It means a lot. It does. I mean, and I understand it's the guy's a phenomenal player and stuff like that. I can see, but is that somebody you want to have on your team? If you're in the restaurant and somebody brings some water to you, just pour some water. Oh, thank you very much. Or do they pour water and you don't even acknowledge it? So everything means something, but everything doesn't mean but just small things, So, but I mean, it's Shedeur Sanders ripped by an anonymous coach before NFL draft. It was the worst formal interview I've ever had in my life. You thought Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders was a polarizing NFL draft prospect among fans. Wait until you hear what anonymous coaches are saying about him. One NFL assistant tore into Sanders in the lead up to this draft, saying the quarterback turned in the worst formal interview ever, according to the NFL Network's Tom Pelissero. Pelissero spoke to multiple coaches and executives ahead of the draft, asking them to evaluate the top quarterback prospects available. It should come as no surprise that Sanders drew some of the most extreme quotes. The most damning quote came from a longtime NFL assistant coach who ripped Sanders' attitude, body language, and performance during the team's formal interview. I mean, So one of the reasons why he's maybe where he is. Didn't get drafted in first, second. Well, I mean, you're not Jesus Christ. Right? These people are, you're going to become an employee of theirs, right? Right. So when you have maybe a future employer, maybe going to hire you. Right? You show them some respect. Apparently, according to some of these guys, that was one of the last things on Shedeur's mind, right? One longtime NFL assistant coach said his time with Sanders was the worst formal interview I've ever been in my life. He's so entitled. He takes unnecessary sacks. He never plays on time. He has horrible body language. He blames teammates. But the biggest thing is he's not that good. That's the type of quote you see thrown around by hot take artists on social media. It's a quote with enough heat to keep you comfortable during the dead of winter in the Midwest. It's a quote that could result in multiple teams taking Sanders completely off their draft boards. It's also a quote made by an anonymous coach who didn't put their name on it. That must be taken into consideration when fully digesting the criticism. That coach may believe everything they said about Sanders. That coach may also be on a team that picks later in the first round and really likes Sanders. Maybe that quote was a deliberate strategy by the coach to depress Sanders' value so he falls to that team in the draft. Well, I got some more information here. So, The point is, we don't know. It's impossible to figure out how much truth is contained in a quote if a person won't put their name on it. Well, I mean, a lot of guys don't put their names on them, but sometimes there's a reason. And of course, you have, Coach Prime responds to the Shedeur's criticism. Given Sanders' proximity to the spotlight, he's been a subject of criticism for years. His dad, obviously, Coach Prime, laughable. He said the criticism is laughable. Well, see, the thing, is that, the one thing, I don't like is that, as I said, but just with, just seen Deion Sanders, right? Since his first year, I was 89, I think it was, with Atlanta. I saw him play. Back then it was Florida State and the U, right? And all, that was big games. So I seen him in college. I didn't see him in person, but I saw him on TV. Saw him at Atlanta. Of course, I saw him, when he's with the Cowboys because they played the Giants twice a year, right? So obviously he was with the 49ers. Then he finished his career in the early 2000s and all that. But one thing that, he was, Deion was always, confident, very confident and all that and everything. But one thing, he never did was, he never apologized for anything. He was always right. He would never apologize. I made a mistake. I did that wrong. I should. You'll never hear that from him. And it seems like the same thing with the son, too. Just that's what it seems. But I mean, with Deion Sanders, it was just, he was always right. He's like Donald Trump. Like, you're wrong. I'm always right. So, but I mean, I can never see Coach Prime, saying he was wrong. Apologizing for anything. But there's this one thing here apparently from sources saying about Shador's time with the Giants. Okay. Now, I don't think Dable's the one that said that. Once again, whoever knows who said that, but I don't think this is something Dable would, I don't think Dable said that he was the worst formal interview ever. But let's say so. The Giants weren't the only one to pass on Shador Sanders after an extensive scouting process. The entire NFL turned down the opportunity to pick Colorado quarterback deep into Friday night's third round. Sanders has been a controversial prospect, but his plummet past the top two rounds was a shocking and alarming drop for the confident son of Hall of Famer Deion Sanders. Giants GM Joe Schoen was not interested in discussing Sanders' fall after selecting defensive tackle Darius Alexander with the number 65 overall pick. I'm not going to get into that, Shane said. This is Darius's press conference and the New York Giants, so we can talk about that if you want. I don't want to talk about that. Yes, I'm not talking about other players itself. But Sanders had a bad private workout with the head coach, Brian Dable. However, according to the Ringer's Todd McShay, that may illustrate one reason the quarterback is lingering on the board. Shador didn't have a great interview with Brian Dable in a private visit, McShay said on Thursday night. An install package came in. Preparation wasn't there for it. He got called out on it. Didn't like it. Brian didn't appreciate him not liking it. I mean, I mean, if this is true, I mean, dude, what is your problem? Right? He gives you something to do, right? You come in, he wasn't prepared for it, didn't appreciate it and all that stuff and everything, and now you're giving the head coach a problem? Yeah, really? And you're wondering why you're still sitting out there, huh? Wow. Dable was asked about that report on Friday night, but I'd say we had good meetings with all the guys who came in here on 30 visits. Quarterback meetings were productive, and we're happy with Jackson, Dable said. Then the coach changed the subject to Alexander. Yeah, but let's see. Only 3 quarterbacks total were selected in the top 2 rounds of this deep draft Friday night. The Louisville quarterback went to the Saints. The Saints finally got themselves a quarterback, but of course they didn't take a quarterback in the first round. You got to go all the way back. They only took 1 quarterback in the first round in their history. They came into the league in 1967. Only one time. Right, 67. Yeah, the Falcons were 66. 67 was the Saints. So only one time since 1967 did the Saints ever taken a quarterback in the first round, and that was Archie Manning, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, right? Archie Manning in the 1971 draft. So the Saints are still, it's been since 1971 since they've taken her. Still. But they took a quarterback in the second round, okay? Ward obviously went number 1 overall, and Haxson Dart went at number 25. So 2 in the first, and I guess 1 in the second. But that was it. Let's see. But, I mean, once again, this is all, I mean, where McShay got the information about Dable, right? I mean, he wants to see what you can do. I mean, especially at the top, off the top of your head, or in a package, he gives you a little something. Maybe you got an install pack. I mean, if that's true, if it's true. I mean, if the other interview, once again, they were talking about too, that it's the worst interview I've ever had in my life. Once again, it could be the guy's doing it on purpose, so his stock will fall, and he goes in the third round, and that team scoops him up in the third. That's possible, but then again, could be true, right? But I mean, if coach asks you to do something and you're not prepared for it, and then you get called out on it, and then you give the coach an attitude or something like that, dude, are you kidding me? But once again, that's like a Dion kind of attitude. But Dion, obviously, with his skills and all that, he could be a little obviously cocky and this stuff because he was that good. But if Shedeur never apologizes for anything, that's just the way Dion was. Dion's like, I apologize. That was my mistake. I screwed it. So maybe that's one of the reasons. Maybe one of the reasons, and he's still there. We're going into the third round, and you had you got 3 quarterbacks taken off the board, and you're not one of them and all that. I mean, if you were that good, somebody would have taken you. Right? Because there are some teams out there that can use a quarterback. Or if worst comes to worst, is there teams out there that could use a backup quarterback. And he's accurate, right? I mean, if you can get somebody who is apparently pretty good, right? And especially get him in like the second round, because the second round, you're only paying the guys maybe like $2 million a season or something, right? If he's your backup quarterback, right? For $2 million or $1 million a season, heck, that's a bargain. But I said, if he was that good, somebody would pick him, right? He had his pro day. I don't know, to be honest with you, how many private workouts he had. That I don't know. But obviously he had his pro day, right? I know he was very accurate in his pro day. It was like 58 out of 63 or something like that. It was really, really ridiculous. But once again, it's not like a 2-team league. It's not a 1-team league. It's not even a 5-team. It's not even a 10-team. It's 32 teams, and they're all out for blood to win the Super Bowl. Okay? If you got somebody there is that good, right? You got 3 rounds, right? If you're that good, right, they'll draft you. So it might be the attitude. Maybe he's just not that good. Maybe a combination of who knows. But there's got to be a reason why. Right? So that's possibly one of the reasons why. Because probably possibly if they had Dart in for and he gave Dart an install package, right? Quite possibly, you want to get drafted, you come prepared. Right? So maybe Dart was prepared and Sanders wasn't. So it is what it is. All right, guys. I'll be back again tomorrow night. So the Giants got 4 more picks tomorrow, right? You got 105, I think it's 154, and then 2 in the 7th round. One of them is almost like the one of the last picks of the draft. But anyway, but don't forget, remember last season, 4th round, we got Theo Johnson, right? 5th round, we got Tyrone Tracy Jr., right? So if we can do as well this season with 105 and 154 as we did last season with Theo Johnson and Tyrone Tracy, there'll be another 2 good players added to the roster. So Draft's been pretty good so far. All right, guys, once again, so now it's been 40 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you, thank you, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo! Oh, yeah.